Hello and welcome back once again to Yellow Card TCG. Zystral here bringing you another product review. About this time last year, I backed the Heavy Play on Kickstarter. They were coming up with an innovative new design for a combined deck box, dice box, playmat solution, and I'm pleased to say it finally arrived. So this is going to be a breakdown of the unboxing experience, what it's like, why I think they're a really cool company and you should support them. There'll be links to all their stuff down below as well. Of course, the Kickstarter is now well and over, but you can just buy their products normally. I believe that they have a bit of a lead time on production. I'll confirm later in the video. But yeah, we're going to start off with an unboxing. I'm then going to start cracking some of this open to go use at a locals, give you an experience of like, okay, here's what it's like for an event, like just the 3 rounds locals for one night, what my experience is like. And then I might release this first, like with like tomorrow night's locals review afterwards, you know, what it's like for one night. And then I might do a follow-up in like a few weeks time of like, here's what it's been like to live with and use regularly. So yeah, looking forward to that. Let's get right into the unboxing. So starting off with taking a look at everything I bought, I backed a pretty big package. It comes with one of their ETV playmats, one of each of their type of boxes, and a whole bunch of sleeves. And obviously you can watch their content for yourself, their Kickstarter campaign, all the bits and pieces. But for those of you who can't be bothered to click away from this video, the premise of the Heavy Play system is that this is a solid playmat. You can see it's, you know, like it's stiff, and it folds out to a playmat like cloth-like material with a rubber backing, but it closes magnetically shut, and then along the side you have magnets where the deck box is attached like this. So first of all, these also have magnets in them, and it means that when you're traveling, like moving between tables at events, you just snap them on, pick up this thing, and go straight away. Or if you're like just sitting with friends and playing like games casually, you can connect multiple boxes together and have one easy combined solution for loads of different decks and boxes. So I think this is all a really, really nice system. It's very modular. You can like combine dice boxes together. You can combine deck boxes with dice boxes, put them onto the playmat, whatever you like. And another cool thing about, I think, the deck box is that it's cross-compatible, just like Dragon Shield, Ultimate Guard, Game Genic. And so I love cross-compatible modular systems. And you can see like, I've got different colors here. Obviously these don't combine as well, but these, like, you know, I can swap the tops of these potentially if they were the same size. They're not. If I want to buy more of each of them, I can mix and match, etc, etc. And then another product they've offered, completely unrelated to this solution, is a new type of sleeves. So you see they've curved sleeves, and what that means is, I don't know if it comes from the camera, but the bottom is curved. So the tops are square, just like you'd expect. And apparently, the curved bottom is supposed to give a much nicer feel when you shuffle. We'll see how that works. And obviously, they have perfect fits to go with them. And I'm looking forward to try this out. I'm always a big fan of like trying out new sleeve technology. You people who know me know that I like my matte, like cloudy, like sleeves. And these don't have that, but I'm willing to give it a try anyway. And one cool thing I like about this box and this packaging in particular, as well as being very clean, very minimalistic, which I'm a big fan of, it shows you the shape of the sleeves there, like curved along the bottoms. There's a little line here where you can like put your name or like, you know, something, like write something here. I like that when people do this because a pack of Dragon Shields, same size, same dimensions. The fact that you can like put a deck that's been sleeved into a pack of Dragon Shields, I think, is a really, really nice touch. And so them doing the same here, if you don't want to buy a deck box for whatever reason, these are still compatible with most major deck boxes. They just aren't compatible with regular inners, so I have to buy these, and I can't use like my box of KMCs that I've got on the side. But yeah, this is like the star of the show. So we'll unbox all of these now, and then I will put a Pokemon deck into these for tomorrow night's locals. We'll see how we get on, and I'll record another segment probably on Friday morning or Friday afternoon about what it was like. So let's get straight to unboxing. Alright, we'll start with the playmat because that's really the star of the show. Like, these boxes are nice, and you can use the boxes without the mat. You just, snapping them together, putting the dice boxes on attached. But then they basically become glorified watchtowers or ultimate guards or what have you. And I kind of don't see the point of having something that's similar to Ultimate Guard but without the quality or without the feel. And the combination, of being able to combine with the mat to be an all-in-one solution, I think is what's really exciting. And what? Smells very heavily of plastic and chemicals. Alright. So, I don't know if it's super visible here, but if I tilt it at the right light, the heavy play stuff embroidered on, patterned on, emblazoned on, I don't know what the term is. And yeah, the back feels... It doesn't feel like a normal rubber playmat. It feels like a phone case. Like, it is rubber, it is like some sort of silicone, but it's not quite the same as like this and this are not the same material. If anything, actually, this feels higher friction. Like, this feels a lot less smooth. Like, which is strange because this is like what? Like neoprene rubber? And so this feels like this isn't going to slip off anything anytime soon either. But this feels even grippier. So I'm actually like pretty confident about how this feels. And then I say like on one sides here, that's where the magnets are, where these will connect. But also the magnets on the inside means that it can fold up very nicely. And here's what's impressive. Here's what's really impresses me. Obviously this blue on blue doesn't look very good, but they mentioned that the inside of the playmat was legitimately going to feel like a playmat, and it really does. Like, there's a little bit of like softness to it. Like, sure, this is hard. Like, it's stiff, but it doesn't feel like I'm playing on something stiff. Like, when I have this flat on my table and I'm putting my hands on it, putting cards on it, it doesn't feel any different to a normal playmat. And it's about the same thickness, so the fact that it is like kind of soft, it has that sort of bouncy resistance, I think is really, really nice. And of course the top level, it is just normal playmat cloth. Like, you can see like a little bit of some crease marks like on the edges and on the seams. So it's not perfect, it's not the exact same as rolling out a playmat. But I could definitely see myself playing on this, no problems. And the fact that, like, for some games like Pokemon, you can use the crease to your advantage, like deck, discard pile, whatever. Or maybe if you're playing like Magic, you can have like permanents, like some other stuff. I think there is a way where this can become part of the mat. I am looking forward to seeing them release this playmat but with like art, because one of the things about playmats, as every card game knows, is you like to customize, you like to show off your designs. I can't even count. It takes me like 3 hands to count the number of Hololive playmats I have on this shelf here. So yeah, at some point it would be nice to like get custom mats, but of course being able to like combine with the heavy play technology, that is going to be like much later down the line. You're not going to be able to like have whatever you want on a mat unless they do a service like inked or custom playmats where you send them a design and they print it on. That could work really, really well, but we'll see how that turns out. But for now, like, I don't mind using solid color, no pattern playmats now and again. There's a certain charm to them, but it is mainly for the magnet technology and the fact that it's stiff, thus easy to package. You just slide it into your bag. You don't have to worry about like rolling it up or like putting it in a tube or whatever. And the reason you don't want to fold regular playmats is because of the crease. But here, the crease is built in. It's part of the thing. You live with it. So that's pretty exciting. I'm just going to unbox, not everything, but just a few things here. So let's start with the basic level deck box. On the back of the box, you see it's got the EquipMag system, so you can put them together, put them together, put them together. And yeah, this feels... It is just plastic. It feels very plasticky, but it feels like pretty good quality plastic. Like, I don't worry about it snapping or breaking. Like, sure, I'm not going to just apply pressure to it for no reason, but I don't think it's just going to, like, fail on me the way, like, an Ultra Pro deck box would. It feels a lot like, I've got one somewhere. It feels like the same materials, like these monolith deck boxes, or like the Ultimate Guard boulders, or whatever you have them called. I don't know if Gamegenic makes like a hard plastic box like that, but yeah, this gives me that similar vibe. And what's cool is that about the dice box is that the tray and the case itself have magnets on them. So the magnet is what keeps it closed and locked and snapped in, which is quite nice. And then it gives you like an elevated spot for you to have the thing on, or you can just have them like that, and again, magnetically attached, so you can just easy to move around. One thing I'm curious about though is, do the magnets come through on the other side? And the answer is yes. So actually, you can have your tray attached to the front of your deck. That's actually really handy, especially for like Pokemon, like deck, discard pile, dice to access. That's a really nice touch, and yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that already. That's very cool. So that's nice, and apparently the Max version has like this leatherette covering. So this looks a little bit nicer, it's a little bit more premium, but same sort of production. Silica gel packet, always good to have. I'm surprised this one didn't come with silica gel, although I guess you don't want the leather to be too moist because that'll damage the leather, but this is just plastic, so it doesn't quite matter, right? But yeah, same construction details here. Oh, the inside is lined with felt on this one. That's really nice. Big fan of this. So that's quite cool. We can put this back in for now. Let's unbox this. Just a regular plastic deck box. So yeah, these are again exactly like the boulders or whatever. A little bit of clear film, which I'm going to peel later. And unlike the boulder, which, let me grab mine, has a very angled opening for, I guess, ease of access. This one's slightly curved, which I found, it's not strange, but interesting, because it makes it a little bit harder to pull apart. You know, you're fighting against, like, here, there's no angle of resistance, so like there's no pushback, you just pull it up. Whereas here, this bit's providing you a tiny bit of resistance as you try and lever it open, but still comes out fine. Obviously, these connect because separate halves, and the wave kind of lines up, which you would expect it to. Again, I'm just not sure why we couldn't have just had like a solid straight line, and then these would have just been like slightly staggered like that. Like, if it had just been like this, I think that would have been fine as well. But, you know, this does lend a certain air of like cleanness or like cleanliness to it, which I think is also quite nice. Pretty interesting like pattern on the inside here, like these grills. Not sure what that's about, maybe just for like structural stability. But yeah, overall, it feels about the same quality as one of these. Like, around the same size too. Quite nice, like can't really complain. The window, I guess, makes it a bit easier to see your cards. Like here, you can't really tell what's inside. Whereas if I move them here, you can very clearly see the Heel Guardian. Some people don't like windows on their deck boxes, and that's fine. I'm not always a fan, I'm sometimes a fan. I think something like this, it would be nice. Maybe like showing off like the art of your sleeves or something, or showing off like commanders for an MTG deck. Yeah, something... I'm not sure what it is, but it just feels a bit odd. Like the seam, the way it closes, the way it feels like pull apart and open. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's ruining my experience, but it does feel very strange. Like, I don't know if I'm going to actively use this regularly. So I've got them in two sizes, one for 80, one for 100 double sleeve cards. So let's take a look at the Max deck box. I'll do the 100, this one. Big one. I do like the unboxing experience though. Like, packaging is very clean, very simple. There's no like tape, there's no plastic, there's no faff. You just open and go. So this one, you see, it's got very similar construction to the playmat. You've got like these hinges, these flaps. Like, it very clearly opens a certain way. There's a window here as well. Interestingly enough, they didn't put a film on this window like they did for these ones. So, I know it's super clear on camera, but this one's kind of already a little bit scratched. It's a little bit sad. But yeah, these again connect just like that. Pretty stiff connection. Magnets here, magnets here. Magnets here as well, which I think, yeah, they do. You can put them up that way, which is pretty cool. This little opening here makes it easy to access your card like that, but it just makes it a bit awkward for storage because, like, you know, they don't really sit properly. It doesn't wrap all the way around. Like, once you open out the box like this, like, you can do that, but again, it's not super perfect. It's still like flapping around a bit. It's not like GameGenic where you can just wrap it all the way around. So maybe in a future version we can see like this coming out all the way as well. I think that would be nice. There's also, even though there's magnets up here, there's no magnets in the plastic, so this doesn't like fully attach. It's a bit, not weak, but again, they just kind of flops around, and like once you pull your deck out of the deck box, you kind of have to just close it back up and just like put it to the side. Like there's no way to like constantly access cards in here, so like if you have tokens and stuff, it's gonna be a bit of a pain. And the fact that the seal wraps all the way down to the bottom means that if it's flat on the table, you have to pick it up. You can't just open it. Like there's no way of getting to this little flap underneath without go blah, blah, up. And then to close it up again, the flap will just sit there unless you tuck it away, so it's a tiny bit unwieldy. It's not awful, I don't hate it. I just don't see myself using this regularly over, say, a GameGenic product. So as it currently stands, I'm a lot more impressed by the plastic deck boxes than I am by the leather ones. Let me quickly unbox the other one, just to make sure if it's just this one where the window is scratched up or all of them. I remember reading an email from them like not too long ago about this. I just don't remember the details. Yeah, this one also doesn't have plastic. It's a tiny bit scratched. Let me try and see if I can tilt it and show you. Like, it's not perfect, but it's not awful. Same with this one. You can wrap it and lock it here with the magnets, but because this one's even shorter, you're fighting against a lot more like strain. And it's still just flapping around. Like, there's just no way for the lid to sit after you access your cards. But beyond that, I'm pretty okay with those. Again, I'm most excited about this dice tray. So I can think of Pokemon, Shadowverse. I think it's going to be a really cool system to have. Yeah, so that's the unboxing experience. Might as well open this one. I've opened them all already. Let's see. Like, do that without ripping the box apart. Yeah, again, there's like the sticker film on the window here. This feels pretty large, chunky, 100 cards, magic deck. Yeah, it's just overall like hollow, but you know, pretty well constructed. It's very clearly not 3D printed. It feels like injection molding. So, no major complaints. Again, the hinge, the curve on the hinge feels just a little bit weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like, Ultimate Guard have the angled hinge, which I think is perfect. I know Ultra Pro and their satin towers and the like Ultra Pro's equivalent of these is just like perfectly horizontal, which I hate. This kind of is like, it feels like an in-between. Like the hinge, the angle gives you some leverage, but then the reverse angle takes away that leverage. It's definitely not like Ultimate Guard, we have to put exactly horizontal, like exactly in a straight line to get them off. But it does feel like a bit of extra work compared to Ultimate Guard. But it is all fully modular. Put the cards in, put the dice in. You can store it like this in your bag. The only downside, or the only change I would possibly recommend to them, is for the dice boxes, consider putting magnets in the front. That way you can have like, you can double up, stack up stuff for like one big gaming experience if you have like multiple decks or whatever. or just so that if you want to like put this in your bag and just carry it around, you can sit them like this, or you just have one big thing that just connects like this, potentially. Or, you know, like, because right now I put it like this and then throw this in my bag, or throw it in like a storage box and then just throw this in my bag. It would be nice to have like some sort of, you know, unified system where like everything's all connected at once. Maybe Heavy Play could release a product like that in the future where it carries like multiple different boxes all at the same time. Who knows? Yeah, overall that's the unboxing experience. I am now going to go sleeve up some cards and run this tournament in the like this week. We'll see what it's like to live with in a bit. Take care, see you in a little bit. Okay, so it's now Friday morning. I've just come back from, well, woken up after coming back from locals. My first excursion with the Heavy Play materials. Here's what I think after day 1. First up is the dice tray. This is pretty much perfect, like no major complaints, it holds everything I need, everything's easy to pick up, I can access these really easily, I can access all of that really easily. Yeah, just really good all around, no issues there. What I will say is that because I like to have my dice on the left hand side of my play area, this is pretty much how I had the mat at all times, and then the tray would snap on like that. These would snap on and just sit to the side like this, and I would play as normal. So even though I said in the previous section that you can use like these fold lines to like denote or mark certain places on the board, like your deck, your discard pile, maybe like certain sides of the board for Magic, I never really ended up using that. And despite what I think of myself as a person, having the crease line there didn't really impact me much either. Like, I was never annoyed by the existence of the crease lines, probably because I was busy being annoyed by the bad luck and the bad starts I was getting, but that's another story. But yeah, overall it's really usable, very simple, very clean. And when I was younger, I used to be the sort of person that I was kind of superstitious about like the sleeves and playmat I was using. So not having a playmat with a design on it is kind of a first for me. Like, I don't believe in that superstition of like having a specific playmat means I'll get specifically lucky in certain ways anymore. But it just is nice to every now and again like look at the mat that you're on while your opponent's taking their turns or while you're planning out your turn. And having like solid color sleeves and solid color playmats does get a little bit boring after a while, but again, I'm sure Heavy Play will start addressing that at some point. The box again was also not awful. You know, I never really had to access the box much. I had some spare sleeves, and then the deck, no other spare cards. So, start of the game, unfold the mat, out comes the cards, fold this away, snap the case to the side, and just leave it there. No major issues. I didn't really like do much with the box. I can't really have much room to complain. Just that I would be nice maybe to have like this front lip maybe be slightly curved. Because I noticed that sometimes when I was putting my cards away, 1 or 2 cards would get like caught out like this and not going properly, and I'd be like, okay, I have to like do it again myself. So and this is a really minor suggestion, like I don't think it's needed at all, but it would just be a bonus, which is just having these 2 walls just be ever so slightly slanted to make the cards just slot in that little bit easier. But yeah, overall, like, magnets on the bottom, totally fine. They didn't really stick along here, like, they do kind of sit like this, which is, yeah, not awful, but not really the point. So I kind of just had this to the side more than anything else. On the whole, I think this solution it's a tiny bit more bulky than the Game Genic watchtowers I usually use for Pokemon. In exchange, you can hold a lot more dice and coins and markers and tokens or whatever, but again, to me, it's like, I don't think the extended storage is much of a reason to sacrifice the build quality and the feel of the watchtower. So I don't know how long I'll be using these for Pokemon, especially for locals where I'm not, like, there's only 3 or 4 rounds, I'm not moving that much. For something like EUIC, regionals, where you're constantly getting up, moving around, like, having this to carry with you is a lot easier than, like, shoving stuff into your bag. So I can understand that part. And yeah, like, overall, I'm really happy with how the products performed overall. They felt solid the entire day. Like, I never felt like my stuff was concerned just, like, in the bag. Like, normally I put all my stuff in storage boxes, as you can see. But these, I felt happy to just throw it in my bag and just leave them sitting there rattling around, bouncing around. So no real complaints. I do have some slight concerns that this white might stain over time, but whatever. Like, boxes are meant to like gain a bit of character and wear and tear as you use them. So yeah, overall, no issues with the products. My major complaints or concerns are actually with the curved sleeves, because after just three hours, 7 games of Pokemon, you can kind of see that some of the corners, I don't know how well the focus shows up, but you can kind of see like some marks on the corners. Other side as well, there's a pretty heavy split right there, and they are actual like proper splits. Like the clear plastic on the front is coming off, and in a way you can kind of see if the camera will focus. I don't know if it will focus. Maybe I've got my autofocus turned off, but the way it's sealed at the bottom, there's extra heat sealing. Like, it's not a single solid crease here. There's quite a bit of extra flat material around the bend. And I get why, because the bend is weaker because of geometry. So it just means that for someone like me who shuffles pretty hard, it gets caught. Like, it got caught as early as round 1. Like, sometimes I was shuffling and be like, oh, it's starting to bend a little bit slightly. Like this one you can see here is particularly really noticeable. This one as well, really noticeable. And I didn't replace any sleeves all evening, because again, it was only 3 rounds, but the durability feels a lot lower than, say, GameGenic or Dragon Shield or any equivalent brand. And I feel like for the price point, for lower durability, the shuffle feel is only medium. Like, obviously, the back is relatively smooth. It's not as textured as Dragon Shields. It feels a lot like GameGenics on the back. But the fact that it's gloss on the front and not matte, to me, is a really big detracting point. Like, they weren't awful to shuffle, but for example, resolving Iono, shuffling my hand, or just doing a basic shuffle after this, like, it doesn't feel like the cards are slipping past each other as much. Like, when I do my shuffles, those of you who have seen me shuffle know that I riffle pretty aggressively. Like, I'll bend my cards pretty aggressively. And here it feels almost necessary, because for any other deck, I don't need to do that. Like, I can just introduce a little bit of pressure laterally, and the cards will slide in together. But here, I don't have that same feeling. Like, this gloss and this back, there's actually quite a bit of friction involved. And that's actually kind of a good thing, because when the sleeves are brand new, it means that they're not like slip sliding all over the place, which is really, really great. But at the same time, like, even something as simple as like shuffling your hand when you're thinking about stuff, it just doesn't feel as smooth. So is it a worthwhile payoff for having these rounded corners on the bottom for hand feel? And I'm really not sure, because someone like me, I have relatively small hands as far as most people I know, so I grip my cards pretty tightly. So when it's like this, having that rounded corner against like the inside of my palm, I definitely notice it, and it feels a lot nicer. Like, especially again doing riffle shuffles like this, where the inside of my thumb joint is bending into the corner. That is really nice. Or even just like manipulating my deck, like having this nice round corner to like have my thumb grip around the edge of is really nice. But I think I can live with not having that round corner in exchange for durability and shuffle feel, because I'm functionality first and foremost. And the fact that these have that durability function concern, I think to me is just, I'm unlikely to use these long term for regular events. What I'm expecting to do now with the other packs I have is to re-sleeve some EDH decks and Magic decks and just leave them in the box and use them on a rare occasion. And like, again, this is Regidrago, right? This is not a deck that shuffles the deck super often compared to like Arceus or Mew or whatever. So the fact that it was after this, the sleeves are like this, only after just a few rounds of like medium play, again, granted with my heavy shuffling, it's a little bit concerning, and I'm not sure if there's a solution they can bring in to like balance the strength of the seal versus the resistance to shuffling. It is a tough problem to solve. I respect that, but for me, it's the enhanced hand feel is not worth the decreased durability, especially when I'm not getting like the best shuffle feel I've ever gotten compared to, say, Game Gen X or Broccoli Pinks. So sleeves, less happy with. Boxes and mat, very happy with. The little crease I had up here, I didn't notice as I really rarely noticed. So overall, I think if you're someone who like is a tournament grinder, is trying to like lots of events, playing lots of multi-round things where you're moving around a lot, the EquipMag system is a great pickup. As for the sleeves, unless you have really tiny hands and the corners are constantly digging into your hands, I think the sleeves you can definitely pass up on. Not to say that they're bad, they're about as good as regular Dragon Shields. You know, you trade durability for feel and comfort. I'm just someone who doesn't want to make that trade. I prefer durability more than anything else, which is why I still buy Dragon Shields, I still buy Game Gen X, because they have high feel and high durability as and when the case needs. I don't expect myself to be restocking on the curved sleeves anytime soon. I could definitely see myself picking up another dice box and another deck box at some point, like in the next few months. Maybe a playmat once they do playmat with artwork and designs on them, but I know that's a long time coming. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the Heavy Play product. And I will just mention once again that this video has not been sponsored. I've paid for all of these materials myself. That's why I can be brutally honest and say that this works. It's not for everybody. Like, if you're just going to locals to hang out with friends, jam some casual games, you have no need for this equipment. This is for someone who's traveling a lot, moving stuff around, and needs the mobility more than anything else. And I'm willing to admit that I don't need mobility all the time, only sometimes. So for something like weekend locals for like Vanguard or Battle Spirits, I'm gonna stick to the Game Gen X Academic. I'm gonna stick to my anime deck boxes with storage boxes. This I will only be busting out for major events, like big haul, lots of traveling, only some playing. But if I'm sitting down, like pulling out a deck box on the table, there's no point to this. I'd rather have stuff that's nice to look at, stuff that's a bit more functional, stuff that's a bit more durable, stuff that's a bit just protects all my cards and stuff a little bit better. And again, the sleeves are definitely a pass from me. Someone out there will probably really like them and will use them all the time and is happy to spend on them. That's something I didn't mention, by the way, price point. I backed everything on Kickstarter, so it all came together, so I don't know the price per item. I think it is all on the Heavy Play website, which I'll link down in the description. I'll put some screenshots here, but I think for me, in Europe, shipping combined, these sleeves are definitely not worth it compared to Game Gen or Dragon Shields. These boxes and playmat is a solid maybe. I wouldn't say like go out and buy Heavy Play stuff straight away, but I think if you're someone who has this problem that needs to be solved, it is a good solution. I think the sleeves are solving a problem that doesn't need to be solved compared to durability and quality, and I think they fail on that front in that regard. So overall, I think Heavy Play is still great. Do support them. I'm always into independent new manufacturers getting into the game. I think more choice and more variety in the card game accessory market is always great. So I'll link all their stuff down below. You can check them out. It's really cool. If nothing else, it's a nice talking point. But yeah, thank you to Heavy Play. You know, I just stumbled upon their Kickstarter one day and thought, hey, this is cool. So hopefully I'll see them go from success to success. Hopefully they'll release some more products that I can review later on. But yeah, that's going to be it for this product review from Yellow Card TCG. I've been Zystral. Thank you very much for watching. Standard YouTube blah blah blah, bell, subscribe, comment, etc. And we'll see you next time. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye bye.